Hey, soldiers. So we're close to finding out who Sam Bankman-Fried's backers are. Why is this important? Well, once we get a hold of this thread, we may be able to follow it elsewhere. I've done reports on, the speculation that the whole FTX saga was put into place, or engineered rather, as something to degrade the faith in the crypto industry, and use that to make way for the CBDC. So it was a twofold, and this part of it is my theory. It's a theory that others share as well. But crypto had a twofold mission. One was to kind of introduce folks to the concept of this type of currency, and the other two was to build it up so that it could be torn down and people would lose faith in it in a big way, and then look to the government central bank digital currencies as the answer. Now, some people are going to say, well, that would never happen. We never did. We did exactly that on September 12th, 2001, when we said we're so terrified that we're ready to give the government unprecedented security and authoritarian powers in the form of a Patriot Act. So the United States has done that kind of thing over and over and over again. And we always fall for it. So please don't say it couldn't happen this time with my theory. But anyway, we're going to find out who these two mystery people are who bailed him out. Now, his bail and how they structured it is a bit complex because they also used his parents' house as some collateral. Bail, bond. I'm going to go through exactly what it is in a moment. But I'm using the term bail and bond interchangeably for now, although I do know that they are different. But hey, guys, look, I'm not a member of La Cosa Nostra, okay? I don't have any experience directly dealing with this type of thing, so forgive the interchangeability for now. We'll get into the specifics in a minute. But, using the house as collateral, a lot of people have asked, well, how can they do that if it belongs to Stanford? And that's a great question, because if I was renting an apartment and I went out here and got into some sort of trouble and needed bail, I certainly can't put up my apartment as collateral. So how does this work exactly? We're going to get into that and demystify that a little bit. In the meantime, January 30th, this was yesterday for me, day before yesterday for you guys. A January 30th ruling could see the identities of two individuals who signed on as sureties for Sam Bankman-Fried's $250 million bond. Their names could become public. Right now, the judge has made the decision, but it is subject to appeal, and you can best believe these people want to remain anonymous. They are going to appeal. The two people who helped former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried with his $250 million bail bond could have their identities revealed next month. That will be February, after a recent ruling by United States District Judge Lewis Kaplan. According to the January 30th filing, Kaplan granted the joint petition from 8 media outlets to unseal the names of the two individuals. This reminds me of the body cam footage that the police had in San Francisco recently during the break-in at Nancy Pelosi's house. They tried to hide that footage. That's public information, and they were able to hold on to it for a little while, but media organizations filed some Freedom of Information Act request and were able to get a hold of it. But this seems to be some sort of delaying tactic that the rich and powerful use to kind of obfuscate, and for as long as they can anyway. Quote, for the limited purpose of asserting the public's claimed right of access, unquote. The judge noted that these identities should be made public for that reason. He noted, however, that there was not much weight in favor of either side of the argument, which to me means that he thinks maybe an appeal might knock this down. In unsealing of the guarantors' names also isn't guaranteed, as Kaplan has given Bankman Fried's legal counsel until February 7th to contest the decision. And contest they will, you better believe it. The judge wrote that an, quote, appeal is likely, unquote, and stated that if a notice of appeal from this order is filed by then, he would extend the deadline to February 14th to permit an application for a further stay to be made. Bankman Fried was released from custody, as we all know, in December after two unknown people signed on as sureties for the $250 million bond, along with Bankman Fried's parents, Joseph Bankman and Barbara Fried. Now, here's the million-dollar question to me. If we don't know who these people are, then we can't make a determination as to whether or not it's reasonable for them to have signed on to this. And where am I going with that? Well, now I know that he is not one of the individuals. We are using him for illustrative purposes only. Let's say Warren Buffett was one of the individuals and Prince Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia was the other. All right, we can reasonably, gather that these two men have the means to do something like that without question. But let's suppose that you find out it was me. Okay, I'm one of the guarantors. You might say, well, where the hell he get all that money from? So what I'm getting at is the people who did this, are they using FTX funds? Were FTX funds used to help bail this guy out? Was hidden money used? Yeah, I'm asking those questions. I think they're valid questions. And unless we know who the guarantors are, then we have no guarantee that FTX money was not used. Because you can best believe once they are revealed, the media is going to start asking more questions. So is this why they're trying to hide their identities so feverishly? 8 major media companies, including Bloomberg, the Financial Times, and Reuters, demanded public disclosure of the two individuals responsible for guaranteeing the bond in a January 12th letter addressed to District Court Judge Lewis Kaplan. All right, so you got Bloomberg, Reuters, and the Financial Times. That's just, there are 5 more. All right, but those 3 are heavy hitters, especially Bloomberg and the Financial Times. They're going to ask money-related questions. That's what they do. Attorneys from Davis Wright Tremaine LLP, acting on behalf of the media giants, insist that, quote, the public's right to know Bankman Fried's guarantors outweighed their privacy and safety rights. And why are they afraid for their safety? Why would they be afraid for that? I mean, hey, look, if you're running around guaranteeing $250 million bonds, I would imagine that you're able to hire security if you think that, there's a need to do so. Bankman Fried's lawyers have, however, continued to argue that their identities should be kept a secret, as his parents have already been the subject of threats, and the FTX founder and those linked to him face serious security risk. Well, again, welcome to the real world, Mr. Bankman Fried. If you go out here and let's say you lived in the hood, Sam, and you cheated someone out of money and the police charged you and you had to go back to the hood to await trial, you're probably going to get some, interesting looks as you walk from your home to the corner store. This is hard time on planet Earth. Welcome. In his ruling, Kaplan said he has no reason to doubt threats had occurred, but was yet to see evidence to that effect, adding, but it does not follow that the non-parental sureties would face similar threats and harassment. Right. Okay. Again, if it's Crown Prince MBS over in Saudi Arabia, he doesn't care about your threats. He got a security team, right? So one thing doesn't automatically mean that the other is going to occur. Just because your mother and father have been getting harassed and threatened, Sam, could have more to do with the fact that people think they're in on it with you. So, let's be real here. Kaplan further argued that Bankman Fried's parents faced intense scrutiny due to their close relationship with their son and his father's employment at FTX for a year prior to the exchange's collapse. Absolutely. Thus, the defendant's claim that the non-parental sureties would face similar intrusions is speculative and only entitled to modest weight. So they continue to try to craft the environment to their liking, regardless of what reality really is. Moreover, the information sought, i.e. the names and the bail sureties, traditionally is public information, right? In a January 19th court filing, the lawyers for the former FTX CEO claimed that 3 men drove a car into the metal barricade outside Bankman Fried's parents' home, where he is under arrest. The unidentified trio was reportedly able to drive away before security guards could record the car's license plate. We'll call the police. That's what they tell us to do at our socioeconomic level, right? Why do the Bankman Frieds and these 2 mystery guarantors think that they are so entitled above and beyond where everyone else should be? Now, speaking of the house that they are residing in, mom, dad, and little Sammy, speaking of that house, people are asking, well, how in the world is it that they're able to put that house up as part of the collateral for him being out on bail? Well, here's the deal, guys. And I had that question too, so I wanted to do a little research for you. Let's see. His bail is 25 times larger than Bernie Madoff's. Good. Should be 30 times larger. The home in question is a faculty home on the Stanford campus itself. Stanford owns the land, and Bankman and Fried, Sam Bankman's father, Joseph Bankman, and Barbara Fried, they lease it. They lease the land. Okay. That's not uncommon. Here in Baltimore, I think Philadelphia does this as well. We have a phenomenon known as ground rent. And they're trying to phase it out. Now, ground rent is basically you own the home, somebody else owns the land. Okay. They're trying to phase it out because you're responsible for paying the ground rent. It's usually not much, but the whole concept is antiquated. All right. If you bought a house, this is America. This is not China where you can't own any land. All right. So this is a vestige of, times gone by, people trying to reap revenue over and above whatever they got paid for the house, for the real property, for the improved property, land plus a house on it. So anyway, we have that here. Stanford is saying that they're using that because it kind of controls who can live on their campus. Okay, I get that. Although the couple told the court that the 5-bedroom, 3,000 square foot home is worth $3.55 million, the restriction of Stanford having to be the one to make the ultimate decision who lives on their campus, and them saying that basically if you're not a faculty member, you can't own this home. Well, of course, those restrictions are going to decrease the market value of the home because it's really not for sale unless you have a very specific and special condition, that condition being your tenure as a professor at Stanford. So can we really say it's worth $3.55 million? Okay. Now, I'm not sure if whoever granted bail, kind of the judge that did grant the bail is no longer on the case. So I'm not sure if they understood this, but that's a good question. Would it have been able to be used to the tune that it was if this was kind of fleshed out? Were Bankman and Fried, mama and daddy, ever to sell their house, or were the government to take possession of it in the event of a bail violation, or if the mother and father are implicated, charged, convicted, and have their assets seized, if all that happens, and they were then forced to liquidate that house, the pool of potential buyers would be limited to other eligible Stanford faculty. Whatever the scenario, a sale would have to go through the school. It's a curious circumstance that underscores the wide latitude granted in bail proceedings to wealthy defendants, in sharp contrast to the unforgiving terms that often keep poor people of color behind bars. That's no longer even valid because so many jurisdictions have waived their bail requirements. A lot of people are, convicted of some pretty heinous and violent stuff. See New York City, and they get out within hours, literally. So the whole bail paradigm has changed. But that, with regard to that house, that's how they were able to do it. Stanford doesn't own the home; they own the land. But it is a unique circumstance for sure. Interestingly enough, Stanford has more than 800 on-campus faculty homes. Only Stanford faculty members can buy them. Stanford faculty may purchase a leasehold interest. Buyers sign a ground lease with the university, and then faculty members pay rent to Stanford and are responsible for paying all of the property taxes. The arrangement is so complicated and arcane that the Santa Clara County Assessor has an entire page devoted to Stanford faculty housing. This unique structure dates to the university's founding by Leland and Jane Stanford. Because the founding grant stipulates that campus land cannot be sold, those who buy a house on campus only lease the land beneath it, explained Stanford Magazine. According to the 2005 article, Arthur David Levitt grew up in the same house as Bankman Fried and wrote a novel inspired by the inheritance quandary of the campus faculty housing. One brochure notes that the goal of campus housing is fostering an academic community in residence. In other words, they don't want you people living around them. They want their own little cloistered community. Okay, fine, whatever. The Stanford's intention was to ensure that the land endowment to the university would exist in perpetuity. So, I get all that. But what I'm still not getting here is how they were able to maneuver and use that. Because, the more I delve in here with you guys right now, real time, it's not their house. They are paying rent. Okay? So, hey, it is what it is. The saga continues. Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX, his mother and father. One day this will be a mini-series. Or maybe a whole series. Crypto crime family. All in the Family 2024, maybe, and it's a whole different type of thing than Edith and Archie this time. All right, so as the situation continues to develop, we'll continue to bring you the news surrounding this FTX saga. Check out this report. Can you believe he actually believes he is entitled to FTX money right now? To hell with the creditors. To hell with, the people who trusted you and lost money. To hell with them. He wants money now, and he thinks he should have it. This video goes into great detail on that, guys. I'll talk to you soon.